And we're live. I'm here with Alexander the Great Volkanovski. Thank you so much for taking the time. First of all, I'm honored to have you on my show. It means a lot to me. And you are I've had a bunch of fighters and people in the combat world, combat sports world. You are my first champ, and you are
Oh,
the current champ. So that is big for me, and I'm super excited. So thank you so much for taking the time.
no worries, mate. Appreciate that. It's unreal. First
So
champ. I'm
first
sure you'll
champ.
get many more.
I appreciate that. So as I told you a few seconds ago, is there a little tidbit, a little something that the world doesn't know already about the 145 champ Alexander the Great Volkanovski?
Yeah. That's obviously a lot of people know that I love my Game of Thrones from my walkout song. So everyone knows that I love that. But now that that season's finished, and I'm not I wasn't the wasn't so happy with the last season. I was pretty disappointed. So that chapter's finished. The Game of Thrones chapter's finished. I won the throne. I got the throne. On to the next. So people don't really know that I'm a massive Harry Potter fan. Some people may know, but not many people know. I
Ah,
love my Harry Potter. So maybe that's my next chapter. Old Harry Potter, my theme music. We'll see if I walk out of that.
what do you have a favorite
But
Harry Potter character?
Yeah, Harry Potter.
Yeah.
I don't mind Harry Potter. Yeah, I like a few of them actually. Yeah, no, I'm massive because when it started, I would have been pretty young. And mate, I'm hooked. Like I'm not lying if I tell you that I've watched every episode or every movie probably 8 times at least each.
Wow. Even
Every single
with
one.
your kids or alone? Like
Not with me, mate. That's me. The kids aren't even. The kid's probably grown out of it already now. But with that, it's actually, you know what, I say 8 times, but I've been saying that for the last 2 3 years, and I know I've watched it another 4 or 5 times since then as well. So there you go, probably over 10 times each episode. I love it. It brings me back. It takes me back to when I was a kid.
you might be
Maybe
what
I don't know what it is. I just love it. I'm like, I feel involved.
if you walk out to the theme song, you'll probably be the only UFC fighter to ever walk out to the Harry Potter theme song.
Mate, I was the only guy to walk out to Game of Thrones because
Ah.
I walked out to Game of Thrones. I was the first debut, so I had it for the last even before my debut in UFC. I was walking out to Game of Thrones, but I walked out to that, and then a couple other people walked out to it. I remember when that happened. It was you had a who was it? Maybe I don't know if it was Noguera. It was a couple of other, and at the time I was only on my way up, and then you had like some very popular guys. I can't remember who it was that played, and everyone's like, "Oh, Game of Thrones, how cool is that?" I'm like, "I've already done that. What do you mean?" But all good, all good. I can let that go. I'll let that go.
So, talk to me a little bit. Has life as champ been any different than life pre-champ? I mean, I'm sure you probably get a lot more media requests, and there's more people know you, obviously, naturally. But have you do you notice life being any different at all?
Man, it's such a tricky one, like, cause you're right. There is a more media obligations and things like that. But at the same time, whenever I do them things, I'm just, man, you know what I mean. I like go through it and I'll do it. I do what needs to be done, and then as soon as I've finished there, I go back to train or I go back home. I'm just me again. I completely forget about all of it. You know what I mean? I'm here and I'm just daddy at home. Or if I'm at the gym, I'm just another guy at the gym. I'm not better than no one else. That's how I am. I want to stay that way. So mentally for me and things like that, I feel the same. But at the same time, you're going to get noticed a little bit more, all things like that. So, obviously, but the thing is, I do forget. I literally do forget. So I'll walk the streets, completely forget that I do this UFC thing. Then I'm getting stopped there, getting stopped, and everyone's like, "Oh," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, shit," the UFC thing, But it's been like it's weird. Like, I thought that would have changed once I was champ, but I'm still the same. Like I've always been like that, and even now, while being the champ, I'm still just me. I think that's cool, and I don't ever want to change. I want to be as big as I can be. I want to be as successful as I can be. And if the stardom goes, if we branch the stardom so much more, I still hope I can be me through the whole process. Though
If I told a 15-year-old Alex Volkanovski he'd be UFC champion, what would he have said to me?
he probably would have said, yeah, again, I'm not a cocky type of person, but I've always watched martial arts and I've always told myself that I reckon I could do this, even when I wasn't training. That's something I always talk about. So I've always said that, oh, I reckon I could do this. I reckon a lot of people say that. I'm sure there's so many fighters that, or so many young kids that say they're going to be UFC champion. I get a lot of people saying on my post, on posts I do, you'll see people, oh, I'm going to be champion soon, yeah, and things like that. And I respect people thinking like that. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of people saying that. There's a lot of people saying that, and a lot of people not doing it. But for me to go out there and do that, it's pretty cool. But I honestly reckon that if you told him that, he would probably go, "Yeah, I knew that." Like not in a cocky way, but because he's pictured it already. I think he would. I reckon he would take it in. I reckon he'd be like, "Oh yeah, sweet. Let's start at 15 then start at 22 because I started training when I was 22. So maybe that would have been better because I would have started even younger. Oh, but I take that back because starting at 22, play football and it made me who I was or who I am, sorry. And so I wouldn't change a thing. So I'm the man you see today because of how everything folded out. So I
And
don't take nothing back.
where does this I mean, I was just listening last night to you on Rogan again, and there just seems like this constant theme of self-belief that you have in yourself. I mean, where does that come from? Is it something your parents instilled in you? Is it something you kind of learned as you were growing up? I mean, where does that come from?
Yeah, man. It's just something that I've just always done. Whether it's me just thinking, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. It's just I know what needs to be done. Like I know that hard work in the gym, hard work anywhere, like it needs to be done. You know what I mean? And then even to win, I look at it as, oh, I'm way better than this guy. I don't look at it that way. I don't look at it, oh, I'm way better than this guy. I can do whatever I want. I still look at it as these things. I need to train hard, get things sorted, work out a game plan. You know what I mean? So there's things that need to be done, and I know that I've done everything that I needed to. I know that I am the best I can be in that camp, the best I can be. So I am very confident only because I know I put in the work that needs to be done. And I've got a team that's been telling me, my coaches have been telling me, we need to do this, we need to do that, work this, work that, you know what I mean? And then because I've got that in and I believe in my team, I believe that, that I really do believe that we're ahead of the game and we got a lot of fighters figured out before we fight them and you're seeing it. So, again, I would have thought that now from being so successful the last few fights, I'm so confident in the process that I've sort of that I've been through. So I knew that what needed to be done. Again, my team told me what needed to be done. I'm going to do what needs to be done. So that's what I do every day. Every day I'm in the gym. I'm looking at that. I'm like, I need to be here. Even when I feel a bit tired, all right, it's either pull back and have the day off so I can go harder tomorrow, or if you're going to be here doing that session, you capitalize on every minute of it. So I've always been that type of person. I do that in my head. I don't need coaches to tell me that. I've always been very personally driven. That's the right word. And yeah, sometimes it's my coaches that need to pull me back. They need to tell me, hey, have a day off. And sometimes I do that. And then the next day I'm absolutely kicking ass because I'm fresh.
Other than being disciplined and motivated and kind of seeing these things from an early point, what was a young Alex Volkanovski like growing up? I mean, did you, you know, a lot of fighters that I've talked to, they had maybe a lot of anger built up, and then MMA was an outlet. Some just wanted to get in for good shape. I know you had a different career before that. So, I mean, growing up though, what were you like as a kid? I mean, you seem now you seem very relaxed and loving life. Have you always been like this? Is this something new?
Man, I've always been pretty chill. I've always, been, I believe even from a young age, I've always been respectful and, respected my elders and, just morals. I've always had morals. Again, I've never really had anger issues. I'd be lying if I said I did. Don't get me wrong. I've been in like, fights and that when you're younger, but that's just being young. And, I've always been the type I'll stand my ground, but I've never been angry. I won't go looking for trouble or anything like that. I'll try and avoid it. Like I don't really like confrontation and things like that. So I'm not the type. If someone annoys me, I'm not just going to get in their face. I'll just be like, I'd rather just leave it, unless they come in my face, in my personal space, and then I'm like, all right, I need to do something. So that's sort of how it was when I was younger. But it's just, I've always been, yeah, again, I've always been pretty chill. So I know a lot of people do have anger issues, and that's why they take their anger out in the training and things like that. I've just always loved martial arts. I've always been pretty good at what I've done. except for soccer, football. I was terrible at that, but I wouldn't say I was terrible. I wasn't that good. But playing rugby league, wrestling, I've always, things like that, I've always been very good. If I was arm wrestling someone, I was always the strongest in my class. Things like that. So I've always been pretty gifted in that way, and it was always something I believe I was always going to do. I'm just not the type of person that people expect a fighter to be, and there's a lot of fighters that aren't like that. You probably talk to a lot of fighters, and that some of them did have anger issues. I bet you talk to a lot of them that are chill and some of the nicest people you ever meet.
Hmm.
Some of the fighters I've met are some of the nicest people you ever meet, most
Yep.
respectful. Again, these are disciplines that you need to know inside the gym, not only training. It's all about honor, respect, and all these types of things. And some of the nicest people in the world I've ever met was through MMA. So I'm glad I am and who I am. And again, I'm glad people that did have anger problems that tried using it the right way. Trying to let that steam off, and sort of rather than just being angry all the time and hitting people on the streets. At least they can do it in the octagon, or they can at least control that anger a little bit better.
Has someone in the past maybe 10 or 9, 10 years since you started going full-time MMA, have you had to use your fighting skills outside in the streets? Has anybody picked a fight with you since?
No, no. So that's actually gets I get asked that a fair bit because a lot of people expect because I'm a fighter, people want to test themselves with me. But I don't know, nowadays it's different. I think when maybe 20 years ago, people would try and prove themselves. I think times were different. Now, I think you'll find a lot of people that'll gladly say, "Man, I'd get my ass kicked." They ain't even bothering. They'll be comfortable saying that. 20 years ago, I don't think people would. If that makes sense, do you get me?
Yeah.
Like, I think the times were different. Actually, Bisping just put up a video. I don't know if you've seen it. Just
Ha-
put up a video today. It was like the first ever recorded street fight.
haven't seen it, no.
Yeah, well, he put it up. It's like black and white footage, and then people walking around, and there's like you even see a kid like walking out and sort of annoys some older person. Older person looks around, he looks around like being staunch to each other. Next minute, they turn to the right, and there's these guys throwing them, and just sitting there. And then even in the comments, people are going, it's just everyone had a little bit of heart in them back then, and like that's sort of what the comments were talking about. So it's funny that we're talking about that right now. I just think times are different where people now they'll know that even though I'm half their size, they look at me and be like, that he'll probably kick my ass. I ain't going to take that on. So I haven't really had that problem. But again, 20 years ago, maybe people would have tried to test themselves, but I haven't seen it anyway. I guess I don't go out as much anymore, so maybe that's why. I don't know. What do you think, mate? What's your take on that?
I don't know. I mean, if I were it's tough because I guess from a build perspective, I mean you're shorter, but you're built, you know. So if somebody doesn't know you and they walk on the street, I mean, if they have good judgment, they're not gonna fuck with you. If they have bad judgment or they're a little drunk or something like that, and they try to pick a fight with you, I mean, either they're in for a long, long, long night. I mean, obviously, like I've talked to some fighters who they use more of their MMA background as like just defense in case someone attacks them,
Mm.
or it gives them like a sense of confidence when they walk in the street. But of course, like I had Lyman Good on recently. Like you see Lyman Good in the street, you know a little bit better than to fuck with that guy, or even some of the smaller guys. They just like there's a confidence and an aura to them. I feel like
Mhm. Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. I know. The cauliflower ears give it away.
It does give it away. Well,
That's
only MMA fans know that.
Well, yeah, MMA is getting so big now.
I know.
UFC's so big. So I was in Thailand, and obviously Muay Thai is so big in Thailand. But I went to Phi Phi Island, and they have a pub there where anyone can fight. Like you can go on this pub, and they just get drunk guys in the crowd to go and fight in the ring. And it's a pretty big deal. Everyone goes there and has like drunk people go in there. And so the Thais go around looking for people to throw in there. And they're looking, they come up. I remember last time they come up to me like, "Oh, you want to go in?" They like sort of look at my ear and be like, "Oh no." You're like, "Yeah, you're not going in with some of these guys. That's not fair." So again, like it's growing so much, so people know. So maybe they walk, they look at my. I don't have much scars, but they look at a couple of scars and cauliflower ears and be like, "All right, this is a rough fella."
I don't know, but I
Gonna
don't
go.
know.
He's actually going to go. Some people are scared of confrontation. We need to remember that. Even though they think they're hard, as soon as they're involved in confrontation, they backpedal. Some people just don't really understand it till they're right there, or they literally aren't scared of nothing, and then you find out they can't fight for shit.
Yeah.
But where do you get that confidence from? It's crazy, but that's, it's just weird. Some people, what goes in their head, you never know.
Now, I have a question. How did your rugby career kind of help you prepare for an MMA, if it did at all? I mean, is there something that you learned, or the maybe like the physicality, the some of the skills? I mean, what how did that set you up? Because clearly, I mean, for someone to come in at 22, that's generally pretty late. And then it's not
Hmm.
just that. I mean, that's only 9 years ago, and here you are, it's champion today. So like, that's you had to have had some kind of something in you. I mean, I know you have the wrestling background, but other than that, I mean, did how did rugby help you?
Mentally,
Mm.
and still physically. So when I talk about physically, not skills, I wouldn't say I got some skills, or maybe different set of skills, you could say. But I was I'm 5'6" if I'm lucky. So these guys are literally twice the size of me, and I've always and I look at them as that's my competition. I don't look at them as bigger or nothing. So I've always mentally been like, I can take these big guys on. It's nothing. That's what I'm used to. Yes, I'm used to running straight at these brick walls, you could say. I'm used to doing that. I'm used to, getting, it's weird. It's just, so mentally, I look at these featherweights, they look, they look half my size, even though they're all bigger than all of them. I'm a small featherweight. We're talking about before that. I could probably do bantamweight if I really wanted to. So I'm not big, but I look at these guys and even feel them, and I'm like, oh, I'm so much stronger than these guys. I'm so much bigger than them, and that's not me being cocky. It's just, I guess, it's from back in the days when I was playing rugby league. You know what I mean? And just things like that. And then you have that contact, that physicality, contact, bashing each other, hardening your body, conditioning your body. You know what I mean? It's just, again, like if you watch me, a 5'6" guy, and I'd literally run as fast as I can into 2 or 3 mountains of men. And then you told me, like, you do that for 10 years or something. It's going to make you hard. It's going to make you pretty hard. It's going to make you used to beating up your body. You're going to condition your body. You know what I mean? And then mentally, it's going to help you. And I believe that has definitely mentally helped me. I've always been pretty athletic and things like that. Even for a bigger, again, I was pretty chubby and that, but I was always still pretty athletic. These little legs could move. So it's just something that over time, from day one, no matter who's in front of me, I was always going to take it on. So I do that in the gym now. Like whoever's in front of me, whoever's on top of me, whatever, I'm going to find a way to either get on top or win, or if they are on top of me and I can't win, I'm gonna try and get up, or I'm gonna make them work to hold me down. I don't give up. I don't have that in me. And I think it's because of my whole life of just always pushing myself and not accepting defeat. But you will be defeated sometimes, but I won't accept it. I'll try until that bell goes. You know what I mean? It helps. It does help a lot.
You've also, I mean, you haven't been defeated in, I think it's around, I was looking at it, around 7 years. I mean, you're 8-0 in the UFC, you're on a 17 fight win streak. Do you, I mean, some people, when they get to that kind of level and haven't lost in that long, they almost feel invincible. I mean, how do you kind of keep yourself in check and realize, look, I'm champ now. I'm on a 17 fight win streak, 8-0 in the UFC, haven't lost in 7 years. I mean, how do you kind of mentally just stay focused?
Man, I'm always expecting the best out of my opponents, or I wouldn't say the worst out of me, but I'm expecting the worst. Come fight time, I'm expecting that I might get tired. I'm expecting that things might not go my way, so I am preparing for everything. There's a good chance it's not going to go down that road, but I'm prepared for it. I prepared for Max Holloway, a striker. We all knew that he was going to want to strike with me, but I was still prepared. If he for some reason wanted to grapple, I guarantee I could have went 25 minutes of solid grappling, scrambling. I was prepared for everything. I'll always put myself in a position when I'm always prepared. I always prepare myself for the worst. I prepare myself for anything, and even in the gym, to keep myself fit. Even though if I'm just sparring one person, we do sessions where, like, the whole purpose of a session is to, do you mind me swearing?
Go swear as much as you want.
Yeah. Is to fuck you up. Literally. It's so you cannot move. Like you are there's gonna be 5 guys on you. We call it the spider. I don't know if you've seen
I
one of
saw
our
the video. I
workouts.
saw the video
Yeah.
yesterday when you're going on through to all the different
Well,
guys.
there you go. Well, that was the last 1 minute of 25
Oh, right,
minutes
right,
worth
right.
of.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've already all them people you're seeing, they're all pretty much attacking us minute, whether it's me picking them up, slamming them, then they're wrestling, then I have to literally wrestle them on the cage, so you're putting yourself to breaking point and you still got to go. So I am getting defeated while that's happening. Like, what I mean? You cannot win the whole time. It's impossible.
Yeah.
But I mean, you are going to go to breaking point. You are going to lose. If you're winning the whole time, that means your teammates aren't stepping it up. So they're not trying to smash you, but again, they want to take you to breaking point. So that's the whole purpose. So, and as you get fitter, they go harder. They're fresh. You know what I mean? So no matter how fit you are, I don't care who you are. I believe I'm one of the fittest UFC fighters there is today, and I am going to get to breaking point, and that's the whole purpose of it. You're going to get adrenaline rush going. You're going to be on your back. You need to get up. I don't care how tired you're lactic, your legs you literally can't move, but you somehow do. You get yourself in the mind, you build it in your brain or build it in your head that I don't care how tired I am, I'm at least going to get up. I'm at least going to try. It won't be as effective as if I was fresh, but I'm mentally always, if I do get to that point in a fight where I'm like really struggling, I know I'll keep going. I ain't going to turn back and cower, which some people you do see. So I don't care. That's what I mean by. So I went off tangent. I went real deep with that. But that's why I believe. I don't care who. A lot of people say, now that you're the champ and you've got to defend your belt, is there still motivation? And every day we're preparing ourselves for the hardest match possible. I don't care who's in front of me. I don't care if I know I'm going to win in one round. I'll prepare for 5 rounds of war.
Is there anything you like to do to prepare other than this side? I mean, I know some people prepare from a mental perspective with like hypnosis, sports psychologist. I was talking to, who was I talking to? Sean O'Malley the other day, who was telling me he has journals that he writes down whenever he has perhaps any kind of thoughts that he has just to get them out. Do you do any of that, or you just anything special?
I don't. I'll be. I don't. I've got my own ways of sort of doing that. Like in the gym, like again, there's gonna be doubts in your head. There's so much things that goes through everyone's head. You know what I mean? But some people cope with them a little bit different, and so I believe in all that stuff. But I think I've got to myself to a position where through doing it my whole life, and you know what I mean, I've got myself to a position if something's going wrong, I'm going to find a way to fix it. You know what I mean? And it's been working for me. I'm not saying it's going to work for everyone. I believe with is it like sports psychiatrists, and believe that stuff can be very effective. For me, I haven't needed to use that. I believe I'm on top of it at the moment. Again, just from not accepting defeat in life itself. So no matter what it is, whether it is in the gym or there's times where life's going to get hard, but you have to, it's easier said than done, but trying to stay positive and trying to look at the positive things in such negative times. Like right now,
Yeah.
it's bad, but I mean, what are you going to do? Am I just going to sit on the couch and be like, oh, I can't be in the gym? Oh, well, I'll do other sessions. I'll work because I'm still getting 2-3 sessions a day. I'll do more podcasts. I'll be more active on my social media. I'll build my brand. There's things that I can do that will benefit me in a couple of months. And again, I'm probably in a better position than some. So I don't mean this I don't mean everyone should be doing this. I guess, I'm in a position where I can. So I will. And if there wasn't really things that I could work on, I'll find something. I'll find something that will work. And I've just always done that. Whether it's just, my parents building that into me, or or seeing them do it, or don't know what it is, but it's just always been in me, and I've just been able to control it myself. So I haven't really needed someone to help me with that. But I mean, I'm all for that. I still reckon even now they could teach me things, and I'm a quick learner. They could teach me things, show me things, and I could use that in so many ways. So I think it is something I should still look into because I could probably benefit a lot from that.
Now, speaking of your parents, did they support you when you told them you wanted to be a mixed martial artist? Or did they tell you were
Oh,
crazy?
oh yeah, I guess that they'll be funny with it. They didn't watch my first few fights, and even when I played rugby league, they were, yeah, my dad's Macedonian, my mum's Greek, so they've, I guess Australia rugby league was there, and fighting wasn't big back then, so that was very new to them. I was playing soccer again, like I said, I wasn't that good at it, So, once I wanted the contact sport, they're looking at me like, oh, I'm the baby in my family. So they're just like, oh, like, what are you doing? It's crazy. But they're all right. They just let it be. They just won't watch because they're scared to watch. And then they eventually started watching me play rugby league. Then fighting happened. They didn't watch my first few fights. Seen I was winning, seen things were going good. Then they started watching, and now they love it. Absolutely love it. They're whether if I'm overseas, they're here at a function room, like wherever we hold it. We get big crowds all over the Illawarra where we live. They're always there watching it. You know what I mean? And they love it. My mum's knows more stats than me now in the UFC. You know what I mean? So it's crazy. They've jumped on board. They always eventually jump on board.
And speaking of your time in the UFC, I mean, and we were just talking a few minutes ago about, sometimes having doubts here and there, even though for the most part it's confident thoughts. Is there a time maybe? I think it's always nice to hear. I think it's refreshing, especially when you hear a champion talk about having doubts as well. Um, is there a time in the UFC that you could remember maybe that could be the equivalent of like a rock bottom, even if it wasn't a rock bottom, but maybe a time where you had a legitimate doubt. Maybe it was a point in a fight. Maybe it was in your last fight against Holloway. I mean, was there a time where you're like you were back against the wall? You weren't sure if you were going to pull it out.
Yeah, yeah. There's been a couple throughout my career, but every camp, like I say that I've got the positive thoughts, but that's not always going through my head. There is always doubts in your head. You'll be about to walk out, and then there's still something in your brain telling you like, "Oh, what if this happened? What's it that?" You know what I mean? You're constantly beating them, but I mean, it's like, I let that roll on and be like, "Oh no, why am I thinking like this?" And start freaking out. No, I'm not going to let it get to me. So I'm like, I won't accept that. Like I'll hear it, and then I'll be thinking that. Then literally 2 seconds later, I'm thinking, nah, you're gonna smash this. You're ready. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy. The roller coaster of emotions every day. Especially in camp. Like I have times during my camp, and you have a bad session, or like you start dancing, like, oh man, can I win this fight? Literally that will go in your head. Like you will think like that. There wouldn't be a fighter alive that won't cross their mind, no matter who you are. That even though I'm so confident I'm going to win, there are still times where your brain's battling you. You've got these mental thoughts battling you. But I mean, if I have to say in my career before I was in the UFC, getting to the UFC, that dragged on and that was really hard. But while I was in the UFC, again, you'd think, oh yeah, I'm in the pinnacle of the sport. I'm shooting through these ranks, and I was really struggling with back issues. So when I say that, like, I mean, it was really mentally getting to me, and I thought that I was getting specialists, neurosurgeons telling me that never to fight again, never to train. You've got to give this up. Whether that was just their professional opinion to cover their ass, I don't know. But I had advice. Like these are physios and that telling me this, and it was hard. And I would constantly be training, and then bang, get a flare up. My hip would go right to the side. Couldn't walk for a whole week, and just this was happening like for 14 weeks straight in between fights. Like I was fighting before Darren Elkins. I only done like a 6 week camp. I only
Wow.
done a 6 week camp. The fight before that, I only done a 6 week camp. I was battling back injuries the whole time. So it was really, really mentally getting to me. I was thinking, man, I was literally thinking I'm not going to be able to walk soon.
Wow.
And I was thinking, should I give this sport up? Like that's what was in my head. Not that I think that was just more my knowledge of the situation and what I thought and mentally getting to me, right?
Mm.
So it was hard. It was hard. I was really worried, but I got lucky where I had a manager look out try and find me something that would help because it was really starting to affect us. Like there was fights that I could have had. There was one time where if there was an injury, I think with Zabit, and this was a big fight. I could have got this was earlier in my career. I could have got what's it called, a pay rise. It was short notice. My back went, and again in my head, I'm thinking, oh man, this is my 2 weeks. I only had 2 weeks to prepare for that fight, so I had to be like, all right, like that fight can't happen. And so it started affecting my career.
Mm.
I was really hurt by that because I was like, I could have got a pay rise and start a new contract. That would have been a massive fight at the time. He was really hyped at the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it really started getting to me mentally. And I was, what do I do? But then I end up getting this new crew that I'm with today, Baymed. They've been helping me through because they're physio and strength and conditioning. They do it all. They deal with a lot of athletes and make the knowledge and literally the mental side of things straight away. When I first got in, I went in, with how my thoughts were, and then I walked out completely changed the way I have to think. Well, I believe what he was saying. All right, fine. I'm going to go with it. I'm pretty good like that. So I'll see how it goes. All right, let's do it. So I felt good. Like if he's right, this is it. And he was right. You know what I mean? And my body's never moved better. My strength programs just perfect for me. We're actually going to be going putting it online so people can actually do my program, my specific program for me. People can actually do that with me. So that's going to be online. So stay tuned for that. But that just was an absolute game changer for me. Absolute game changer. And that was just before the Chad Mendes fight. I went and seen these guys. It was my first 12-week camp. It was the first time I got to, they tell me about a fight. Usually they tell you whether it's, 10 weeks or 12 weeks before, and then being able to prepare straight away.
Right.
Or not even stop. Like, again, I was having back injuries, but then I seen them, and then I literally got the information. My body was already moving right. And I got a 12-week camp.
Wait, so
And
what
I've
is this?
had
Is this like a magic touch? I mean, what are you doing that you're now feeling this? I mean, you don't have any pain anymore.
it's just getting that. But you're gonna
I
get
mean,
pain. But I mean, even that's the thing is, it was how I thought. I'd freak out. I'd lock my core. I'm thinking, oh, something's
mm,
wrong. But I mean, you are gonna have, yeah, you're gonna be uncomfortable. But I mean, it's about moving your body right. So they got me moving my body, using the right muscles. Like even when I had to do deadlifts and stuff, I'll do a deadlift, and because I was so worried about my back, my posture was completely wrong, thinking I was protecting my back, but I was making things worse. I was trying to keep for my posture, I was thinking, oh, this will be better. I was using back muscles. Just, I was doing all the wrong things. Like, it was even just me to pick up a pencil off the floor. I would like literally hold my breath, lock my core, just because I thought if I bend over, my back's going to go. This is my
mm,
mental state that I was in. So that just shows you where my head was at. It doesn't mean that like that's what was wrong. It doesn't mean like, oh man, he was picking up hits, his back went. It was because of the whole way I went about it was wrong. The whole way I went about it, I was doing things wrong. My back would go. All right, let's not do nothing for 2 weeks, then try and get back into it. It would happen again.
mm.
Where now these guys, you get a flare up. All right, we can't stop. Like it doesn't mean go wrestle. It means, all right, we need to do these things. That we need to keep your body in a neutral position, but we want to be flexing at the hips. We need to stay. We don't want your body. I would honestly, my brain would tell my back, oh, something's happened. It would lock up, and then I was like, well, we're now we're like sort of. This is one thing. So because I'm going off rant at the moment, but this is one thing that when the first day I went in there, he could see like I'll lay on the couch and I'll go there. And you could hear me like holding my breath, trying to lock my core just to do these little things. He goes, look, if you need to pick up a pencil, pick up the fucking pencil. You don't need to. You don't need a game plan, a way to go down there. Go down and fucking pick up the pencil. Because I was constantly trying to keep myself in this perfect back position, locking my back up, locking my core up. You know what I mean? I was doing that 24/7.
Wow.
So my body was fatiguing itself. So when I would need to work, my body
Mm.
wasn't ready for it. Wasn't I put myself in a position I wasn't comfortable with because I've just exhausted it for the last 24 hours. So if that makes sense, that's sort of where we're at now. Absolute game changer. I get a flare up. Oh well, all right. I won't do that session. I'll do these movements. Keep my mobility going. Keep moving. Relax. Try and get the breathing right. All that type of thing, type of stuff, and you'll be okay. You'll be back into it. And then literally the next day, I'm back wrestling again. Where I used to have 2 weeks off, and then slowly try and get it, and then it'll happen again. Have 2 weeks off. Try and get back. To happen again. I was doing this for 14 weeks straight in between camps, doing next to nothing till about 6 weeks out, and then fighting undefeated prospects like Jeremy Kennedy, Darren Elkins. You know what I mean? Like, or
Wow.
like my first 4 fights in the UFC, or like yeah, it was. That's how it was. It's crazy.
So Mendez was your first full 12-week camp. And then
It was my
Mendez
first.
Mendez Aldo and then Holloway, you had good camps, 12 weeks of healthy.
Yep, yep. So I had flare ups. They would have had flare ups because when I'm here in Australia, I got my team that I do my strength and conditioning. They do my physio, and they loosen me up 4 sessions. And every time I'm here, my body moves really good. Whenever I go away, like a lot of times I do my camps in New Zealand, I start neglecting my stretch or my mobility work and things I should be doing. So I end up getting a little bit of a flare up. But now it doesn't matter. Now I'm like, okay, all right, I won't finish this session. I'll do this instead. I'll do this afternoon. You know what I mean? And just relax. Tomorrow morning, do my like I literally wake up thinking, oh man, like it's locked up. As soon as I do the mobility, get moving right, and then boom, I'm like, oh, I feel sweet. All right, cool. Let's get into it. Wrestling again. You know what I mean? It wasn't like that back before, but now I'm doing big camps and you're seeing it. Obviously, you'll watch my last 3 performances and you can see. You know what I mean? So it's cool, man. It's a very exciting for me, and I'm still new to this sport, as you said. 9, 10 years I've been in this sport, and the game's changing. Every month there's new knowledge out there. So we're just going to keep on getting better. They're you know what I mean. It's just that it's cool.
How
It's cool.
how close do you feel like you are? Do you feel like you're in your prime? Do you feel like it's not there yet? I mean, how do you feel like how do you gauge that?
Man, I've been asked that question a couple of times in the last couple of weeks, and that's a such a cool thing. This excites me. This is motivating for me. Where okay, am I at 100 or am I close to 100? The best version of myself, 100%. It'll never. There's no real 100. That 100 is going to keep moving. So when I think I'm close, knowledge, more knowledge, and more things that work, or strategies, whatever it is, the knowledge is gonna, it's gonna branch out. It's gonna get bigger. So the 100's back over here now. I want to catch up. Then it's just going to keep going, and I just want to keep going with it. So there's until my body starts giving up, I'm going to get better and better and better. Or I will find out better ways to do it. I'll find ways to get myself better every time until my body slows me down and stops me. I want to get to my peak. The knowledge is going to keep going. You know what I mean? That's I love it. Mixed martial arts. There's so much knowledge out there already, but and the thing is, there's just going to be more and more coming.
Now we were talking a little bit before, um, you know, floating the idea of bantamweight, which is crazy when you think of, I mean, you talk about it before on Rogan that you were once at 214. Now you fight at 145. Is it realistic to do you think about it? Do you talk about it with your team about making that move one day to 135 and trying to gain champ status?
We don't talk about it realistically. To be honest, we don't talk about going down. If I was going to do a double champ thing, it'd probably be up. Again, I
Okay.
could get myself to bantam. I could if I wanted, and it just depends. If Triple C keeps acting the
Gotta
way
shut
he
him
does,
up.
maybe I will. Maybe I will be like, oh, you know what? All right, I'll diet for an extra few weeks and get out of bantam, shut him up. You know what I mean? Maybe I will. Yeah, you never know. But again, you're seeing so many people that used to be in lighter divisions and how unhealthy they were, even performances,
Hmm.
and then they move up and they look the best they've ever have. They felt the best, a lot more happy at that weight. Do I want to do that to myself? Maybe to shut Triple C up, maybe, but you get what I mean.
Yeah.
I believe I'm strong. I mean, as we were talking about before, I've trained with a lot of heavier guys. I've played football with a lot of bigger guys. I can definitely hold my own in many weight classes. So I believe I don't need to put my body through that much pressure, and that much. I don't think I need to do that to myself. If anything, I'll go up.
Now, how do you feel like you would match up at 155 if Khabib were still king at 155?
Man, see, I honestly think because I believe I'm a bad match for everyone because I can see a way to win. I can see faults in their games, and I can see where I can win. And the thing is, I believe I'm so well rounded, and you're seeing that in a lot of my fights. I'm a complete different fighter almost every time. It
Hmm.
depends what job needs to be done, and I'll get it done. So I'm the type of person that could do what needs to be done. And then I believe I'm so well rounded that and I'm strong enough. I know my takedown defense is going to be good. Will he take me down? There's a good chance I'm getting. It's very hard to hold me down. I don't care who you are. I've got these little midget legs, these little tiny legs, and they're hard to. It's very easy to get back to my feet. And then I mean, I believe I can definitely be a problem. I've got a lot of respect for Khabib. He's a great fighter. And another reason why I think I could do well against him, and I'm pretty confident I'll definitely give him a hard fight, and I believe it's winnable is because there's a lot of things that I do from watching him and myself that on the ground, and that's worked so well for me. So I know what he does. I know why it's so effective. I break things down like when I'm trying to explain it in the gym or do it myself. So I know what he's so good at, and I know I sort of so that game it's not new to me. So I believe I know ways around it. Like I'm already training because there's a lot of guys that are studying Khabib, and the new evolution of fighters. You're getting all these young guys that are just, mate, like you look at them, they're like mini Khabibs right now. if you look at the amateur circuit, the world amateurs, that's at the best guys out there. These guys that are just sticking to guys, trapping them. You know what I mean? It goes deeper than that. I won't get too much into it, but so these are things that we're always learning. So and I'm sure a lot of the UFC fighters are learning this too. So Khabib is next level when it comes to Holden, but people are going to start to figure that out. And once people can slow that down, then they can change the whole game. You know what I mean? Strategize. But again, a lot of people have probably been like, "Oh, I can't let him take me down," and he's still going to get him down. You know what I mean? But I believe I'm very hard to hold me down. You get a heavyweight on me, there's still a good chance I'll get up. I'm honestly,
You're
when it
getting
comes
up
to
off and Ngannou's on top of you. You're getting out.
mate, honestly, I reckon I could. Again, I'm built because I'm so stocky and short. Again, it's just there's so many other things. Pound for pound power and things like that. I got no chance. But that's something that my body size, the way I'm built, it's like there's certain things that's just really, 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 really helps me with things that I do. And one thing is getting back up to my feet. So it's pretty hard to hold me down, especially when I can use a cage and things like that. So, again, I wouldn't want to get hit by the gun. I can tell you that. But if I had to get up, man, I reckon I could, just because I'm built for this shit.
Exactly. Now at 145, we're assuming Max is next. I know it's still everything's a little unclear in the future. I know the rematch is most talked about, and I think was maybe at some point kind of booked. So assuming Max is next, and not to look too far down the future, but assuming you were to defend that again against Max, is there someone at 145 that you'd like next? I mean, someone that you think would be the big money fight, that you think is a real I mean, there's 145 is stacked, but do you feel like there's a one top clear contender after Max Holloway?
The 145 division is stacked. It's one of the most stacked divisions. There's a lot of talent in that top 10 as well. But right now, there's no real big money fights. There's no clear number one contenders. The biggest fight in our division right now, I would have to say, is the Max rematch.
Right.
He's the biggest draw card in the division. He's you know what I mean? He was a champion for so long, so a lot of people will be like, "Oh, he deserves that rematch," and I think so as well. So it's, for me right now, I'm in a position where what's the biggest fight for me right now, and in my division, right now it's Max Holloway. People want to see that rematch. People think he can come back and win that second fight. I don't believe that's going to happen, but people want to see it. So I'm going to go. I'll take that fight on. I'm ready for that. Again, I think if the fight was, I'm pretty sure, they wanted that in Australia, Perth card. Who knows what's going to, it's probably not going to happen now. But it's just, so I think that fight was the biggest fight for Australia. We headline. Biggest fight for Australian fans, for my fans, for me, for the UFC, for our division. I believe that was the biggest fight. So that's the type of fighter I am. I want the biggest fights. I want the number one contenders. I want the people that most deserve it. And right now, I do think that's Max. But like I was saying, there's so many top contenders that are very close. If they're all one fight away. So say Zombie and Ortega fight, they fight. Someone knocks someone out. I guarantee you the world's be like, oh, hyping them up and ready for the fight and bring it on. That's the biggest fight for me. I'm ready. Whoever it is, I'm not scared of no one in my division. So whoever it is, I'll be ready for it. I just think they're all one fight away, and we're just got to wait and see. But right now, I know the UFC wanted Max. I wanted Max. I'm pretty sure Max wanted that. I know the Australian fans wanted Max. So that's what it was going to be, but we just need to see what's happening with this whole pandemic.
Now, speaking of the Max fight, obviously the first one, is walking. Well, first of all, do you have any rituals you do before when you walk out into a fight? And then also, my other question is walking out to a championship fight a little bit different than walking out to a regular fight? I mean, what's going on in your head, knowing that you put on the performance, you become world champion?
I treat my every fight like that. Honestly, again, I'm so committed to what I do, and I'm so committed to being successful. As I always say, like when I'm training, I'm doing camps in New Zealand, or when I'm away from the family about to fight. This is time I'm spending away from my family. My family means everything to me. So that's my motivation. I was like, what I mean, I sit there and I need to, every minute I'm away from them I need to capitalize on that, and I need to make it effective. So I treat every fight the same. Every fight is a world title fight to me. Every fight is a job that needs to be done. There's a game plan. There's a strategy. I need to stay composed to do that strategy. So my mind frames, I'm trying to keep it as same as normal. I don't want to treat it any different. I don't want to tell myself this is a world title, oh, and then let it get to my head, and then me go completely off center to my game plan, and then things don't work out. Again, I believe in my team. I believe in what we have come up with to beat our opponent and what's best. So I want to stick to that. So I need to keep myself level headed. You watch videos of me backstage. I'm chatting to my coaches how I'm chatting to you right now. I'll have a laugh. I'm normal. I'm clear headed. That's how I want to be. That's how I always am, and that's how I always will. And that's why a lot of people say, how's it going to feel when your contenders are chasing you? So, mate, they're just another job. That's how I look at it. You're a job. You're a job in front of me, and I'm going to smash through it.
Now, what's the magic at city kickboxing these days? I mean, everybody's asked you the question. I mean, you've got Izzy, you got Dan, you got Brad. I mean, there's so many other top tier talent over there. Um, what is it first of all about that camp, and then second of all, we just talked about your relationship with Izzy and if he's been in any way, if you guys have ever talked about the pressures of being a champion. And he's so beloved by every fan in the UFC, and he's such a great character. But is there a conversation behind the scenes with you and him on how to keep the right energy when you're training as champion, keep level headed as champion, and just kind of living life as it's a new role.
Yeah. See, look, we won't sit down and have conversations about it, but seeing it done, being in presence of it, I've been in there while he was in camp for the world titles, and you know what I mean. That was before I was fighting for the world title. Being there, and this isn't just for me. This is everyone else in the gym. At the end of the day, we are all just. That's what's beautiful about that gym as well. No one is better than anyone. Whoever's doing that spider workout, whoever's doing a session, everyone's got to be there. Amateur scene, professional, or UFC. You know what I mean? You are there. Like we will rock up. We'll help the guys with Spider on a. We fight on the Sunday, so we do our Spider on the Sunday. Saturday nights, the local scene fighters will fight on the do the Spider on the Saturday nights, and we'll be there. We'll be there and I think that's the energy team. You get a lot of big gyms right now. They're City Kickboxing such a big gym, but they're still a team. The team environment and then the knowledge and all that. So all the factors, but being able to do all that sort of stuff is it's sorry my phone was ringing. all that together is just it's actually really really cool to see. Even Izzy, if Izzy's late 1 minute to training, you've got Eugene going, who do you think you are? I mean, Izzy's sorry, you know what I mean? And Izzy's there for fighter workouts. I mean, obviously, especially when he was fighting for a title, he was a big deal, but he was still there. And then for fighters to see him doing the same process as themselves and look at where he's at,
Mm-hmm.
they're seeing that. I'm seeing that. I'm doing everything he's doing in the gym, and look what we're doing. So I see it. I'm seeing it being done. So I know it. I know it's doable. We're seeing it, and that's what I believe that other guys in the gym they're the same. Like they don't look at us like, oh, whoa. They're looking at, oh yeah, when it's my turn, I'm going to be there. I'm going to take that belt. They're all looking at that belt as an end goal because it's there. They're seeing it. It's in their presence day in day out in the gym. So that's cool. So that's something that I took from that, and the energy. And again, like a lot of people don't get to see Izzy backstage. People want to say he's cocky and all that, and I don't see it as cool. I see it confident. I see a confident man, but he's a very respectful. He's done things for many people in the gym that it doesn't really get talked about. But like he's very very. He's done some very very cool things. He's got a lot of heart, and a lot of people don't get to see that, but that's cool.
Who's the next hidden gem coming out of city kickboxing? If in 5 years we're looking back at this episode and you have to predict the next top tier talent coming out of city kickboxing. I mean, there's a lot obviously, but
Yeah.
is there someone to look out for in the future, perhaps?
I mean, there's a few. There's a few that'll probably in the UFC soon. I reckon. Yeah, man, there's so many of them. I'll tell you a story. You go into this gym. There's fighters there that they're not even fighters. They don't even compete. They're just there as a hobby. And these are guys that do it for a hobby. They haven't even had an amateur fight, and they can kick UFC fighters' ass. I can guarantee you they could go out there and be able to throw down. Like, you think I go in there and I'm having hard rounds with a guy that I know doesn't even fight, and this guy is making it competitive for me, and I'm like, how is this happening? You know what I mean? So that's how much talent you're seeing there again. Like, so it's a obviously, they're doing something special over there. I'm not based there, so I'm based here in
Right.
Australia with my coach. But we've got things that work so good for us as well. So we've got things that work, but going over there, we get to use so many other things, and it's obviously working for us. And that's why my head coach is all for it. We've got a good relationship with City Kickboxing, and that's why you're seeing them be so successful as well. So, man, the next guys, there's going to be a few guys. Obviously, you got Brad Riddell that are already in the UFC. Brad Riddell, Dan Hooker, Kai Kara France. I guarantee you they're going to be right. Well, Dan Hooker's right up there anyway, but they're going to be staying up there for a long time. And then there's so many more. There honestly is. I'm trying to think of one that I could say, but I could probably name five that I can see being right up there. But I'll just stick with the guys in the UFC right now. I guarantee you they'll be at the top of their division pretty soon.
Now, speak of you talk a lot about finding a lot of the motivation from being a father. Um, how do you manage first of all not only just being a champ and a father, but also being a husband. What has that changed at all your mentality when you fight? Is it like an extra renewed motivation? And then talk about that how you're able to manage, because it's not only like some fighters who don't have maybe the notoriety of being a champion, they don't have all the media obligations and whatnot, but you're managing a lot of these different things now, while also, taking care of your family, which is ultimately the most important thing to you.
Yeah, man, the motivation, that's exactly what it is. So I know that every time I'm away from my family, that's time spent away from my family, but I need to capitalize. So that's motivation. So while I'm in the gym and I know I'm in a different country training, I'm not half-assing it. Like, I sit there and this is how my brain works. I'm like, you got family at home and you're going to come here and half-ass it. What kind of person are you? So I'm always checking myself. I'm always in my own head telling me, like, stop being a little pussy and half-assing it. Go out there and you want to be a champ. You're committing to this career that you're doing so you can support your family. If you're half-assing it, you ain't doing what you need to be doing. So that's my motivation. That's how I think of every day. So every time something's happening, or I'm trying to stay so, even when I'm home, like right now I'm home, I'm trying to do all the, I'm trying to do the podcast, I'm trying to train. But as soon as I'm done, I still want to give my family attention. I still want to be present with them. I don't want to, so I've always been good at doing that, which has been good. I guess that's why I'm always just going to be me. That's why people are like, I guess you can say humble, like, because I'm just a regular bloke. Yeah. So I'm just always, as soon as, I chat to you, I go back out there, I'm going to jump on the trampoline with the girls, you know what I mean? And things like that. So family is everything to me. It really is. And people, again, fight for their legacy. I don't fight for my legacy. I fight for my family. So I've always loved the sport. I'm lucky enough to be doing something that I love, to be able to provide for my family, and luckily I'm good at it. So it's working out for us. But they're my motivation, 100%, 100%. Every second I'm away from them is that second I'm working even harder because I know I'm away from them. So there's no bigger motivation than family for me, anyway.
Now, I have another question. Is there something that you now know at 31, as either as a fighter, as a person, as a father, that you wish a young Alexander Volkanovski would have known, that you could maybe that you would have told that boy, to maybe either save him time, or to put him on I mean, can't complain about where you're at now, but to kind of fine tune perhaps the path that you have, in retrospect. Do you ever think of something that you could tell a young Alexander Volkanovski that you now know?
Man, I think I've always been a pretty positive person. So it's hard because I want to go back and tell myself something that he doesn't already know. But key things that you need to stay true to and really understand it, and really understand why you want to be positive, and because even when you're younger, even though I thought I was positive, I eventually stayed positive, and you know what I mean. But there was still there was still a sort of a route to get to, positivity type thing. So there was still a downside and, a way around, and then, oh yeah, no, it's okay. You know what I mean? But I mean, if that makes sense. But if I could tell him, I'd be like really, really let him understand a few things that I know now, with being positive, and because that a lot of these things that now, even though I've sort of done it with my career, it's helped from my career, but you can make yourself a better person. You can help yourself mentally. Little things like that. These are things that, really understand, things that you probably already knew, but really understand it so you could use it that little bit more. You know what I mean? Use it. And, there's a couple of things. So I would have to say positivity sounds boring, but, you know what I mean? Just don't be so negative. You know what I mean? With certain things, because sometimes I feel like, you spill a coffee in the morning, some days that'll eat you up all day. That'll roll on and make your day a living hell. And then if you don't know how to control that, that turns to weeks, that turns to months, that turns for, you know what I mean? So you really need to try and, keep yourself a level whenever you can. So I guess that's it, man. For me, that's something that I really understand now and, try and use. Guess I've always sort of done it, but I could have used it a lot better when I was younger. And, that probably would have helped me even more with things I could have done.
Now, where do you hope to see yourself in 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line? Where do you hope Alexander Volkanovski is at that point?
I want to be successful again. I do this now to be, it's all about, world champion. I want to be world champion, but I want to be world champion so I'm successful.
What does
So,
success
I
look
can,
like?
like, well,
What more
success,
success?
exactly. Successful is, for me, successful is being able to feed my family, being able to give my family the life, you know what I mean? So I'm nowhere near that right now. I'm still in a situation where I can definitely do more for them. I could definitely give a lot more. So I'm not happy with that. So, but one thing that I want to know, if I do find things that are going to work well, say if it is business or whatever it's from here, I want to be successful, as successful as I can be, but I want to be me through the whole process. I don't want to let it get to my head. I don't want it to make me someone I'm not. I want to be able to sit there and for people that there's a lot of people that, oh, do this, do that. You should do it this way. You should do it that way. Talk shit, call this guy out, whatever it is, what I mean? That's going to happen. I understand it. But I'm like, nah, fuck that. I'm going to be me through the whole, I get to be me. I got to be champion from being me. No one could tell me how to do it. I got to be me the whole way through. People will love that. You know what I mean? And that's why and I want the people that supported me to support me forever, not just support me because, oh yeah, he called this guy, that was funny, and then you lose, and then they forget about you 2 minutes later. You know what I mean? That's how. I mean, yeah, that's how I look at it. For me, I just want to be successful, and I want to be me through the whole process.
Now, to wrap things up, I know you said you don't fight for legacy necessarily, but when it's all said and done, just I guess more generally speaking, hopefully so many more years of great life. But when it's all said and done, do you ever think about how you hope to be remembered?
Yeah, yeah. I guess I don't sit there and be like, oh yeah, how am I going to be remembered? I won't look at it that way. But again, if I get to do, it just goes from that last question where if I get to be me the whole time, like I know, like I'm not out here trying to offend people to get myself an extra few likes. Oh, you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, I'm going to defend myself. If Triple C calls me out and he's going to say stuff, all right, I'm going to have digs at him back. I'm going to play with it. I'm going to have a bit of fun. That's different. But I mean, I want to be able to be myself through this whole process. As I was just saying. So you know what I mean? It's just that's just what I think of that. So what was that exact question that you asked? Though?
Maybe when people will look back on you, in
How would it be
150
remembered?
years, how do you want to be remembered as, not obviously not just a UFC fighter, that'll be over at some point, but just as a person, as a human being, as someone who perhaps influenced others. I mean, for me, you're a big inspiration. For so many others, you're an inspiration. I mean, do you ever think about that I don't want to use the word legacy, but that legacy that you'll leave?
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. So being remembered again, I just want to be me.
Yeah.
I want people to remember me as the best featherweight of all time. So I still want that. So that's why it's hard. Like I say, I don't fight for legacy, but I want to be the best. I'm not going to go out there again. I'm all for the respect. You look at the guys that are remembered right now. Think of the guys that that you could think of some of the biggest names that will probably be some of the biggest names in the UFC forever. Your Anderson Silvas, your George St. Pierre. At the end of the day, winning and being the best is what people remember.
Right.
Yeah. So if you're the best, yeah, look, if you could do a lot of it, like that, let's say Conor McGregor, for instance.
Right.
You know, he could talk, but I mean, he's done some good things too. He's done like some big things. He's, you know, he can fight as well. So a lot of people are going to remember him, but a lot of people think that's the only way to be remembered,
Right.
is to have that blueprint. It's not. Look at some of the biggest fighters that have been. It's all UFC, MMA has always been about respect, honor, and some of the most loved fighters that you could think of today were them guys. And that's how I want to be. I want to, I want to be remembered for that, and I want to be remembered for me being who I was from day one. I don't want to be one of the guys that turned out to be a home wreck like John Jones.
Beautiful. Well, people can find you on Instagram and Twitter at alexander-volkanovski. Alex, I just want to say thank you so much again for taking the time. First of all, you're a huge inspiration to myself. Even before this and now listening to you, your authenticity, your work ethic, everything like that is really inspiring for myself and for everyone listening out there. As I said to you earlier, you're the first champ on my show, so that's also a big honor. I hope to meet you one day in person and bring you perhaps in studio if you're ever in New York City. But thank you so much again. I appreciate the time, and I wish you nothing but the best. I hope to see you as a long reigning champ and the greatest featherweight of all time.
Thanks, mate. I appreciate that. Hey, that's it. That's the goal. That's the goal. Be successful. Keep winning. Make that money. Bring the money back to the family.
Boom.
Thanks, mate. I appreciate it. Legend.
Thank you, brother.